Okay, so you guys are doing this on your own today. I'm going to give you a little bit of help on the difference between the three things we have learned to do, which is simplifying, solving for x, and solving for y. So how do I know if I'm going to do simplifying, which means just combine like terms, not solving for x? I know simplify is when there's no equal sign, okay? So if I look at all of this, I don't see an equal sign anywhere. So that means I'm just going to distribute and then combine like terms. So the first thing we know, you got to get rid of those parentheses. So that means multiply. And then after you multiply, you add your like terms. Whatever goes together, you can add. So if I'm looking at this, I see that there's two parentheses. So into this first parentheses, I know I'm going to multiply that 4 right there. Okay, so I'm doing 4 times 3 is going to give me 12. And there was an x, so I put x. And then I'm doing 4 times negative 5, which is negative 20. What multiplies into the second parentheses? Is it the 8? No. The 8 is not the closest number to this second set of parentheses. Like in the first one, the 4 was touching the parentheses. That's how you know you multiply by 4. But in this one, the number you would multiply into that is just that negative sign. Well, what number does that really mean? Well, we know that really means it's negative 1. Okay, so then what happens to that plus 8? Well, that plus 8 is just going to drop down right there and be a plus 8 right there. Okay, it's not part of the multiplying. It's going to be part of the adding step. So I still have to multiply the 5 and the negative 7 by negative 1. So I'm going to draw separating my numbers, negative 1, negative 1. So when you do negative 1 times 5, that gives me negative 5x. And then negative 1 times negative 7 is positive 7. And now at this step, I'm going to add what I can add together. So letters go with letters, numbers go with numbers. So I got my 12x and my negative 5x. I'm going to add those together. And that gives me 7x. And then I'm adding my plain numbers is negative 20 is one, positive 8 is another, and positive 7 is another. So I can add all three of those things. And that's going to turn into negative 5. And then this is my answer. This is what my answer should look like. Okay, because I'm not actually solving for x and getting a number. So then it should just be like something with x and then some naked number. Okay. All right, so that was just simplifying when you're just distributing. Solving for x, how do I know I'm going to solve for x? Well, in this one, there is an equal sign. So, yeah, I see the equal sign. I'm going to draw the line. But how do I know I'm not solving for y? Because there's only one kind of letter. So, one letter. All the letters in this question are x's, or they're all b's or m's, but there's not two different kinds of letters, okay? So in this one, we are still doing the steps we used to solve for x. So that would be draw the line, parentheses, combine like terms, move the x's, move the naked numbers, divide. So in this one, I'm distributing first because there are parentheses. So I'm going to split this up. I'm doing times negative 15 times negative 15. So negative 15 times x is negative 15x. Negative 15 times positive 2 is positive 30. And you would be typing all of this into Desmos. The other side, what happens? Well, those are just dropping down because they were not part of the distributing. So I got negative 12x and positive 3. That's a negative sign right there. Okay, next step, I'm combining like terms. Can I combine like terms? So that means on the left side, could I add negative 15 and 30? No, because they are not like terms. This has an x, this does not. On the right-hand side, can I add negative 12 plus 3? No, this has an x, this does not. Next step is move the x's. So I need to pick one of these x's to move. It does not matter which one you move. So I'll move 15. Why not? It's a negative 15 right now. So to move 15 to the other side, I'm going to have to plus 15x. Plus 15x. And I'm writing plus 15x underneath the other number that has an x. Okay, negative 15 plus 15 cancels out. Positive 30 is still on this side. Negative 12 plus 15 is positive 3x. And my positive 3 is left on this side as well. So I drop it down. Next step, move the naked numbers. Well, now, since my x is over here alone, I'm not moving 30, because if I move 30, there's nothing left on this side, so I'm going to move the 3. So I have to do the opposite anytime I move across that equal sign line. So I'm going to minus 3. This cancels out. 3x drops down. Equal sign. 30. Oh, that should be a negative 30. I missed that. You guys did not tell me. That's a negative 30. So it should be negative 30 minus 3 is negative 33. And then last step is divide. So I should be dividing by the number that's with x. So divide by 3, divide by 3, and I get x equals negative 11. We see the difference between what these two things looks like. This is x equals some number because there's an equal sign. This just has x as part of our answer, but we don't know what number x is. So that was solve for x. The last kind we've learned is solve for y. So how do I know I should do solve for y? Because there's an equal sign and there's two types of letters. So when I look at this, oh, here's the equal sign right there. I can draw my line. But in this question, there's an x and a y, two different letters, not the same letter the whole time. That's how I know, oh, I'm supposed to move everything away from y and get y alone. So here we go. If I want y alone, I find my y. Here it is. I'm going to move everything else from the y side to the other side. First thing I got to move is this x. It's a negative 3x. How do I move it? Opposite. Do the opposite to move across the line. So I'm going to plus 3x. That cancels out. On this side, we are left with that negative sign, the 18, and the y. Don't lose any of those things because they're all important. On this side, am I actually doing 72 plus 3? No, because 3 has a letter. So I'm just writing them next to each other. 3x plus 72. And then I need to get rid of negative 18 because I want y alone. So I'm going to divide by negative 18. And when I do that, I divide everything by negative 18. So 18 and 18 cancel. I'm left with y. I'm typing these into Desmos, which I can actually do because I do have a Desmos open. Here it is. So I'm doing 3 divided by negative 18. Enter. Oh, it's this ugly fraction, so I need to ugly decimal, so I need to convert to a fraction, and it's negative 1 over 6. Okay, negative 1 over 6. That was where the x was before, so I put the x with the negative 1 over 6. And then I'm going to do 72 divided by 2 divided by negative 18. Enter. It's a whole number, so I don't need to convert to fractions, so I'm just going to put negative 4 after. And that is what my answer looks like. If you notice, in my answer, this still has an equal sign, and it still has two different letters. In here, there was an equal sign, and there was only one kind of letter. In this one, oh, there was no equal sign. That's how you can tell, okay? So once you're done watching this, go ahead and start the review of these 3 different kinds of methods.